So I thought I would real quickly run through, these are not Google Form hacks, but these are just Google Docs tips and tricks. A couple of them that I'd show you quickly. One of them is a software that you can download and install on your computer that will let you use Windows Explorer or the Mac Finder to treat your Google Drive like a folder that's on your computer. It syncs with the cloud folder, so actually it does copy files down to your computer. So I have a couple of them set up. So you can add multiple accounts. So I have my Gmail account, Google Drive attached here, and I also have Project Access's Team Drive attached here. So if I double click this, this is my Google Drive. If you go to Google Drive, let me pull up the Google Drive. These are just two different views of the same thing. So here's the My Drive, and here's my Shared Drive. So Shared Drive has a couple of Team Drives on it, and that's exactly what I see if I use the Windows File Explorer. So there's the Shared Drive with the same Team Drive. This is super handy if you ever are using Microsoft Office file types, because as you know, if you open these in Google Drive from the web browser, it opens them inside, it opens an Excel spreadsheet, for example, inside Google Sheets, Word document, and Google Docs, etc. And then when you save them, you can save them as a new document, or you can save them over the old document. Sometimes the formatting options are not the same in Google Docs as they are in Word. So every now and then you end up with some, if you do that, you end up with some files that you didn't intend to change that change in terms of formatting and whatnot. So if you want to open an Excel spreadsheet from your Google Drive in Excel, you can just install this Google Drive software, and it will actually give you a file folder on your computer that has those files in it, and it syncs with the cloud version, and you can choose to download or not download. So it basically saves everything on the cloud, so you save space on your own computer. So how would you go about doing this? Well, for most of us, we have Google campus setup or a school setup that uses the enterprise version or the business version that's been adapted to school use of Google, the Google apps. So you want it. There's two different versions of the Google Drive installer, and you want the one that is set up for enterprise. So you can just search for enterprise Google Drive installer, and you'll get this option that says deploy Google Drive for desktop. That's the one you want. And when you click that, there's a long set page of instructions here, but you really only need to scroll down to the business here where it talks about the installer. So here's the number 5, install Drive for desktop, and you would just click the Windows or Mac, whichever platform you're on, and click the download button. It'll download the Google Drive installer to your downloads folder. Then you can go find it there, double click it, and run it. There's nothing extra to do, nothing special. Once it installs, it'll prompt you to log in. It'll open a web browser, prompt you to log in, and then you can have all of your Google files accessible to you in the Mac Finder or in Windows Explorer, whichever platform you're on. So super handy. Another thing, let me go back to my list. Okay, so I wanted to tell you about if you make a change to a file in Google Drive, you're working on a form or something, and or you're collaboratively editing it and you want to roll back somebody else's changes. That's frequently how this happens. It's easy to do in Google Docs. So Lauren and I have been editing these files that we're using today, but so I don't want to edit one that would be destructive. But let me just open up the form that we've been using. Let's use it doesn't work with Google Forms. It works with other Google documents. So let me open up a file that I was keeping some notes in. And if you see, there's an option here that says the file was last edited 7 minutes ago. If you click on that link, it'll show you over here on the right-hand side a version history. And if you want to revert to a previous version, you can just click on those options, and then you can restore that version, and then the version that's on your drive becomes the one that was in your history. So pretty handy. It doesn't get rid of the current version. It saves it there too. So if you want to change back, no problem. There's also a button up here at the top to restore. So that's a handy feature of Google Docs. I was just going to mention this too. Some people, a lot of people know it. Some people don't know it. But if you want to back up your files from Google Drive, now this won't back up all of the ones that are Google Docs because you can't save those out of your Google Drive. They only work from Google Drive. But let's say you have, like, these are PowerPoint files. We may have other files in here. Here's another PowerPoint file down here. So you can select those files by clicking on them, and control click will let you choose non-contiguous files. Shift click chooses all the files in between the first one you click on, the last one you click on, everything in between. But once you've selected the files you want to back up, you can back them all up at once by right-clicking and choosing download. And what we'll do is it'll take all the files you've selected, it'll zip them into a single file, a zip file, an archive file, and it takes a few minutes for it to do it, but once it's done, it will present you with a download link. You can download it. Oh, actually it's going to download it automatically. So here it is dropping in my download folder. So all of these files that I need to back up and save, I can save them all at once in one file. Let's see. We'll wait for a second for it to download, and I'll show you what that looks like. So in Windows and Mac platforms, the software that you need to unzip an archive file is built in, so you don't need to install anything. I actually do have something extra installed on this computer. It's an unzipper that's got some more functionality. But if I look in the downloads folder, there is the zip archive. It says zip archive, and if I double click this, it will have those 3 files in it. I can't do anything with them in the zip archive, but I can just drag them out to the desktop, and then I'll have a copy of them there, and I can open them up and edit them from the desktop. So that's a handy thing to know. So some of the demonstrations that we've done here today, created some URLs that were quite long. Google includes those codes in the file name, the folder name and file name, and so sometimes they are more than anybody could type into a web browser for sure. But there's a handy tool that we like to use at Project Access. It's called Bitly, and Bitly is a URL shortener, but Bitly will also give you QR codes. So let me show you how that works. So if I wanted to create a link, a short link to this PowerPoint file that we used today, I can go to Get Link from the right-click, the context menu from Google Drive, and copy that link. And then if I want to make a short URL, I can go to Bitly. You do have to create an account, but it's free. So you can create like 400 shortened URLs a month, I think is the limit. It's very generous. So we're just using the free account at Project Access, and I've never had a problem. And we create a lot of short links. So let me log in. And some slow internet. So you can see here we have a whole bunch of all the ones that we created in the last days here. But to create a new one, so I've still got that link on my clipboard, I would just go to create a new link, paste the long URL, the giant URL that I saved from Google, and click create link. It's hidden down here. Let me move this out of the way. Yeah, there we go. Create. And it lets you add a title. That would be, if someone bookmarked this, that would be the thing that would show up in their browser. But the really cool thing is you can edit the back half of the link. So if you want that to we'll call it the Rich Simpson Show Me the Data PPT for PowerPoint. That's longer than you'd probably want to do, but click the Save button. And if somebody's already used that, of course, it'll tell you it's been used and you'll have to create a new one. But right up here at the top, you can click copy, and it will copy that link to the clipboard so you can go paste it into an email. Or also, you can click the QR code option, and it will create a QR code for you that you can then download and have in your downloads folder. So another handy way to create QR codes and short URLs. If you're sharing forms and having people submit data into forms, it's kind of nice to have one that they can't just type in on their phone.